Hi, it's Florian, and in this video I'm going to talk about how much money do engineers earn in Germany. So if you're someone who likes to work in Germany and you have no idea what you can make there and how much that is in reality, stay tuned and I will give you some more explanation. So, how are engineers paid in Germany? Actually, there are different payment models. One is in union tariffs and one is outside of union tariffs. So these two things differ. And it also differs where you are located. So in which state you're located, in which city you're located. You can make much more, for example, in Munich than you can make in Dresden. But you also have a higher cost of living in Munich, of course, than in Dresden. But what I will do is I will give you an example in this video. So I will talk about the union tariffs, first of all, and then talk about what that means to you and what the outside of the union tariffs also might be then. So union tariffs, they are something that the unions and the employers make a contract about depending on the state you are in. So every state has their own union tariffs. The union is called the IGM, the IG Metall, and they have negotiators who negotiate with the employers, and they negotiate about the tariff levels, and they negotiate about salary increases, and they negotiate about vacation time and all of that. So that's all negotiated. So if you start at a company who has a union tariff, you will not be able to negotiate about your salary a lot. You will just get what the union has negotiated for you. If you want to make more, you need to go off tariff. So that's also a possibility. They cannot, if they are in this tariff system, they cannot pay you less usually. They can just pay you more if they get you out of the tariff. If you go to a company who is not in the tariff system, you usually get something that you negotiated with the employer where you want to work for, and this is often less. So often smaller companies are not in this tariff system and they pay less than the mid-sized or big companies. That's also very important to understand. So a union tariff is usually something good. And how good it is, I will explain you now. So I actually have some examples that I took from the tariff system in a state called Hessen. Hessen is the state where, for example, Frankfurt, the city, is in. And if you work in the state, you will be paid if you get to a company who has these union tariffs by these tariffs. And these tariffs are usually structured in levels. They go from level 1 to level 11. And if you make more than this level 11, you will be out of this tariff and you will get more. But let's make some examples. Let's say you are a bachelor of engineering or of computer science and you want to work in Germany. So after the Hessen union tariff model, you will get something between group 7 or group 8, which is called EG7 or EG8. And that means you will get in EG7, for example, 3,509 euros a month for a 35-hour week. Usually you have a 40-hour week, which then gives you 4,000 euros a month. And you won't get that 12 times, but 12.93 times, because you get Christmas and vacation money. That's how it's called. And these bonuses amount to nearly 1 monthly salary. So if you have a 40 work hour week, you will get 51.8k per year as a bachelor in the lowest level. If your company, like the company I'm working for, has a bonus system, you might get even a bonus on that. And for us, it's 16%. So you will get roughly 60k a year as a starting bachelor. Usually what we do is we don't pay the bonus in the first year. So it will be, especially if you are straight from university. So we start with this 51k and you will then next 1 or 2 years move up to 60k. And then if you do a good job, or if your job description changes a bit, you will go in the next tariff, which is EG8, which amounts to 4,700 euros a month for a 40-hour week, and then goes to 60k basically without a bonus and 70k with a bonus. So you see, you will then rise to that. And usually if you have a master, you might also start with the group 8 and you go to the group 9. And the group 9 will pay you basically 76k including bonus, or 65k without a bonus. Then there's a level 10 also, which is basically if you're maybe a beginning team leader, project lead, or someone who has more responsibility, maybe a PhD with some experience. And that will give you up to 83k with bonus or 72k without a bonus per year, which is a monthly salary of 5,500 plus 16%. There's also a group 11, which is usually if you are really a team leader or a very senior engineer, you might also go into this, and that stops at 78k or 91k respectively with bonus if you have something like that. So these are the tariff groups. As I said, your salary increase is something that is negotiated between the union and the employer, so you don't need to worry about that. You will just get an increase every year, usually of maybe 2% or 3%, depending on how well they negotiate it. Sometimes you get a separate payment, one-time payment. All of that might happen. You always get 30 days of vacation. That's something also the union negotiated. And of course, all public holidays days are free. You don't need to take vacation on them. And of course, all sick days are sick days. So you don't need to take vacation if you're sick, usually. That's a German thing. That's not a union thing. Yeah, and of course you have some other things like there's a rule if you have small children, then you can get up to 8 days more vacation a year, which is also something nice. You can have off-tariff additions to your salary if you do a good job, or if your employer wants to pay you a bit more. That also happens sometimes. So all of this is something you need to keep in mind. And that is the union tariffs. If you are not in the union, all of that is absolutely doesn't impact your salary at all. You need to negotiate on your own, and you can negotiate whatever you want. But the union tariffs is maybe a good thing to know, a good thing to look up. I will post a link in the description so you can look it up, and so that you have some understanding of what you could earn in another company, so they don't pay you too little. So you can, especially in smaller companies, you will earn less. That's usually the case. And in bigger ones, you will earn usually these union tariffs. If you are very good, or if you get a team leader or whatever, then you usually get paid off tariff, and that then starts usually at 90k and goes up to whatever, 200k. I don't know. So it's basically whatever job you have. If you are a leader of I don't know, a whole group of 300 people, you will definitely earn a lot of money. But there's usually just one of 300 who does that. So don't expect that you will be the one. But you can live pretty well from this salary. So I also calculated if you make 5k a month, what you will actually get then paid out, because of course you need to pay taxes and social security on this 5k. And if you are not familiar with the German system, you usually don't get your money and then pay it. The employer pays for you, and you just get what is left. And for 5k, if you have no children and if you are not married, because those two things will help you, you will get more if you are married or have children. If you're not, you will get basically 3k as net income from 5k of income that the employer has to pay, and 1k of these 2k that you have to pay to the state is really tax, and 1k is social security, which includes health insurance, which is a full coverage health insurance, and the mandatory one, retirement insurance, which is something that earns you retirement points. So it's not you don't get the money back at some time point. You just earn some artificial point system, and once you retire, you will get money dependent on how many points you earned. So it's inflation safe, and it's safe if something really bad happens and all of that. That was established after the war because there was no money you could spend, so you had this point system, and it's quite okay, I must say. Then you have nursery insurance. So if you get old and need to go to a nursery home, you also get some money from that, and unemployment insurance. So if you lose your job usually and you have been working, I guess, for 12 or 18 months, you are entitled to get unemployment money for up to 1 year, which is, I guess, 60 or 70% of your net income that you will then continue to get from the state, and you have some time to look for a job. But all of that insurances also amount to roughly 1K if you have a 5K salary. If you have a higher salary, usually there are these amounts is capped, so your taxes run with the money you earn, but if you have the Social Security at some time point gets limited, so you don't pay more than a specific amount. And I guess the cap is somewhere at 6,800 or 7K a month, and then you don't, everything which is above that you don't pay any Social Security anymore, so that's then limited. So that is a lot of numbers and a lot of things you can know in Germany, but it gives you, I hope, some impression of how much you can earn. If you get this 5K, which is maybe a starting loan, starting salary for a master, or maybe if you're a bachelor and a bit more experienced, then you can make a good living out of it. So the 3K that you that are left, usually you can rent some kind of apartment and have a good living. So it's not that you are very poor with it. You are also not rich, but you can live pretty well. And if you are married and have kids, you will even get more money, so more net income, and you can make a decent living out of it. It doesn't give you a lot of, you are not very wealthy with it, but you're also not poor, so you can have a good living and save some. It depends on how much you spend. So I hope you learned something. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you really liked it, subscribe, and have a good day. Goodbye.